Hey, pretty people, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And this is Freddy G. We were having some technical difficulties, and by that I'm speaking about my mouth. It just didn't stop when it was supposed to before we got started. How y'all doing?
It was
The
amazing too. He was talking with a chocolate croissant in his mouth. It was like a saxophone where they do that circular breathing shit where they
it was
hold
it
air in
was
their
it was
cheeks.
my own ASMR. Hey, I got it right.
Yeah,
That's
ASMR.
yeah. I'm a dyslexic motherfucker. I got it right this time though. Yeah. Oh, speaking of ASMR, man. Yeah, it's kind of annoying to have. Sorry, people, y'all came in the middle of a conversation that I didn't want to stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Exactly. Um, like it's annoying to hear people that are like that do the slurp like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or that like the chewing and that it like you're on the phone and people chewing and shit.
Right, right.
But what I wanted to point out that I found out a couple years back when I initially got married with my ex-wife is that there is a medical condition, and like this is a real proven medical condition where there's people like my ex-wife that cannot stand chewing noises, the
Mm-hmm.
or the crunch or the crack, that in their mind psychologically literally makes them go crazy. So if you ever want to torture some, I again, y'all know me, man. I should have. I forget the name of the condition, but there's a medical condition with a name on it where like that's what it is. So when you do uh when you do shit like that, like the crunchiness or the slurping or the when you drink something or some shit, that annoys the shit out of people, right?
Mm.
Then the reason I bring this up is because then there is people, and y'all can Google this shit too. There's people that get sexually aroused by uh again ASMR noises. So you know what I'm saying? Like I
I
was just
I remember having a conversation with Sonia Trevino. Shout out to the great comic that she is. She was telling me she was using them as sleep aid, like the ASMR. She was listening to them as she was going to sleep, and I've since heard a lot of people say that.
yeah.
I've come across that. The thing is, my introduction to ASMR was on Twitch, which was basically these weird little hippie chicks sitting in the dark with candles with a lot of blue and purple lights, and it was entirely fetishistic. There
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
definitely a kink, and I'm like, I'm telling this. She goes, "Oh my god, people get sexually aroused by this," and then she just took a second. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, I can see that."
Yeah. Yeah, because it's I mean, like they say, I hate to sound cliche, but different strokes for different folks, right? But there is a thing about I mean it's not for me. Like I do I'm into like some kinky shit too, but my kinky shit is different. Um um but like there is there is something about like that kind of shit that gets people off. Like the other one. I didn't even know we were gonna talk about this, but this is what I love about my podcast. And we just go off the rails and shit. Like the other thing, there's people, and I saw a documentary
I just want y'all to know this
on
started off with me going, man, some people get annoyed by people eating on microphone. And
yeah,
Freddie goes, shit, I got some stuff to say.
exactly, man. Cause he pointed out that shit when I was eating my croissant that does not look like a croissant. Shout out to Starbucks. If anybody from Starbucks is listening.
You genius motherfucker selling fake food.
So, what the fuck was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Sexual kinks,
Yeah.
people eating.
So there's another thing where people get sexual. Not only do they get sexually aroused, but they Ah, fuck it, it's my podcast. They nut like they nut, like not just a man but a woman too. Like they come or whatever, ejaculate, whatever the fuck you want to use. When you get a balloon and you inflate it, right? You go next to the person, you inflate the balloon as big as you can, and then you take a pin and you pop it right next to them, and that makes them like nut. You know, and I thought that was kind of like weird and shit. To be honest with you, people, if y'all were to do if y'all were to do that next to me and we was fucking, that would totally fuck up my nut, and I would not nut.
I would be nervous. You'd have a black eye.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's funny because I was watching that I mean, not recently, but I watched a documentary on. They didn't use the word weird. It was another word, but basically it was weird, sexual fetishes or whatever.
Right on, right
on. And I'm not gonna lie, there was some that internally bothered me. Like I'll give y'all an example, and y'all can tell me or y'all can say somewhere in a comment or something if it would bother you too. There's people that were being sexually aroused, men and women, with people that would dress up like a baby, like literally, like wear a big ass diaper and the little hat thing and the little the sucker. I don't know what the
I don't get the adult baby thing either.
Yeah, that bothered me because my human brain. Fuck, I ain't doing anything wrong. I can say it. My human brain went to pedophilia. Is where the fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
There's a spectrum of infantilization fetishes. Like don't get me wrong. On the one extreme, you have the adult baby community that literally wants somebody to treat them like a small helpless child. That just no, I'm not changing your diapers. I don't care what kind of booty you got in there, girl. I'm not changing the Pampers. But then on the other spectrum of that, you have like just the weird, like just the semi infantilization shit where dudes want some chick to like be their mommy, or fucking some chick wants some dude to like be her daddy.
But that's different though, because let me explain. Because there is people.
You still want someone to clean up after your shit. You don't want them to literally clean up after your shit.
That's not what I meant. What I meant was there's people that, they consider it like dirty talk. There's people that like to be, oh fuck it! I'm speaking from experience. Mm-hmm. Like with women, there's some women that will be saying and yelling like you like mommy's pussy and shit like that. You know what I mean? But she didn't mean it like mommy, I'm your mom. She meant mommy as in like or at least I took it as this sexy.
I do get
mommy.
I do get where that there's a kink in the not the actual.
Maybe I should have asked her. I didn't ask her.
Yeah, just like. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to stop while that we're doing this, but just put a pin in it for later on. Can we talk about this?
Yeah. No, but I'm almost sure she didn't mean mommy as in mommy's son type thing.
Well, honestly, that's where it gets a little bit weird for me, because there's a lot of this stuff that it's not, it's like kids these days eating ass, not because they want to eat ass, but just like somebody told them they should be eating ass.
Exactly.
And I think it's the same thing with like a lot of
and I'll be honest with you, the people look at me weird when I tell them that I don't eat ass. And they look at me like there's been more than 5 people that get they really look at me like I'm some kind of like Martian from some other planet. It's like, you don't eat ass, bro. Why would you not do that? And I was like, very simple. I don't want shit in my mouth, like literally.
That's math.
Yeah, and then But I guess like some people automatically assume
Yeah.
that because I enjoy eating pussy, that I automatically enjoy eating that. Like, and it's not the
Yeah,
same thing.
I get it. You go to the Korean barbecue. They wonder if maybe sometimes you go next door to the jerk chicken place. I understand.
Ramen. There's a ramen bar down the
I
street.
can't eat the ramen, motherfucker.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
I'll tell you
Sean.
what. I'll fuck up some pho though.
What the fuck is that?
Pho noodles.
What is that?
That's the
Is that not made from?
No, it's rice noodles.
You can eat rice.
Yeah.
Doesn't rice
wheat
have...
and rice are completely different species?
No, I get it, but doesn't rice have
Yeah, no. It's literally the wheat. I don't know if it's the gluten or if it's the some protein in the wheat is literally what fucks with me.
I don't like Chinese food. I mean, you know this, right? And I've always said it, and I'm not going back on it. Like I don't like Chinese food, but I've been wanting to go to a ramen bar. That's what it's called, right? Ramen bar. A ramen bar for one sole reason. I really do want to take the spicy ramen challenge.
All right. First of all, if you're gonna fuck, all right. Actually, first of all, I think we can all agree that Freddy has no idea that Japanese people are not Chinese. But
no, well, I mean, hold on, time out. You're right. Let me back up. I'm sorry. I understand Japan and China are two different countries. Dyslexia, I'll blame it on that. I don't mean to be
actually, to be honest though, that there's a reason that a lot.
I don't mean to be rude about it. Is what I mean.
I think the reason a lot of people do confuse that, just to like throw you a lifeline here, is for a long time. I didn't know this, but like, okay, the fortune cookie.
I didn't know about Japan until December 7th, 1942. So that's when I knew that Japan existed. I was like, oh, there's other people?
I learned about Japan twice, once in 1992 with Sonic the Hedgehog and once in 1998 with Legend of the Overfiend.
Really?
For those that know, they know.
Yeah.
Tentacles for life. Anyway, what I'm saying is, fuck, I had a comment there I was going to make. Oh, yeah. Little trivia fact, man. The fortune cookie, actually originally a Japanese dish that was brought to like the West Coast by Japanese immigrants. Used to be more like a dumpling type of thing, to my understanding. More like a you ever had gyozu, I think, little pork dumplings. Dude, they're fucking great.
I can't eat pork, Sean. Just like you can't eat bread, I can't eat pork.
Dude, I'll tell you what though, man. It's one of these things, like if I had them right here, because they serve them like with a little lemon sauce and like a little bit of soy. Like, dude, you could just smell them, and they smell wonderful. I was in a restaurant the other day, and I smelled them across like the room. I was like, man, somebody's got pork dumplings.
Yeah, and let me clarify that. I can eat pork. It is just if I do eat pork, I'm gonna be sitting on the toilet for hours, literally. I'm long story short, I'm allergic to pork. Pork contains something that my stomach just can't stomach. So that's what I mean by that. But I mean, I do like it. I like pork. I just unfortunately I can't have it. The last time I had I've killed a rack of baby rack ribs over some Memphis rubs.
Is this the time you wound up in the hospital?
Yeah.
I know
the first time.
You told me one story about that.
I was in the emergency room. The second time, which was recently, like 4 months ago, I had a half rack, and not even the whole half. I think I had 4 ribs, and I was shitting my guts out for 2.5 days straight. I got scared again because I was like, fuck. Like, dude, because I wasn't holding anything down.
Right.
So I was like, dude, like, should I go to the hospital or should I just wait it out? Well, so I ended up just waiting it out, but I really was like shitting like for 2.5 days straight. And then I stopped shitting, and that scared me because I started eating again and I wasn't shitting. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? I went like 3 days with not taking a shit.
Yeah.
And people that know me know that I take 2 shits daily. It's like a ritual. Take one in the morning, and one in the evening. That's about it. But and that's like every day. But yeah, dude. Like it was. I went without shitting for like 3 days, and I was like, what the fuck, dude. Like then I was worried about that. But yeah, I can't have pork. The only pork thing that I can have, and I still can't stomach it, but it'll only fuck me up for 2 shits,
Mm.
and I mean literally 2 shits, is pepperoni. I can eat pepperoni, still gonna fuck me up, but it's just it fucks me up for 2 shits. After I
It's
take 2 good shits,
I've
I'm
talked
good.
to people who have beef allergies that can stomach cured beef, like not cured. Yeah, cured. I guess would be it. Like a when you like let it the aged beef with like the seasoning and whatnot, so you let it actually kind of break down and it starts to what's the word? Yeah, break. There's another word for it that's not coming to mind at the moment, but where it the bacteria starts to break down the meat and the proteins, so it denatures it a little bit,
Yeah,
and people are
I've never tried that, by the way. The
uh,
the cured beef.
you
I've
never had
heard of it.
you know what summer sausage is?
No,
It's the
I'm
stuff you
guessing
can
it's sausage,
yeah, but it's stuff that it's really dry and hard, and you can eat it at room temperature. You
like
don't.
jerky,
Yeah, but it's a sausage.
but it's like jerky, like
It's not
jerky.
quite that dry. It does still
Oh,
have a lot of
okay.
the fat content on there. It's just it's cured. It's so fucking over seasoned and cultured is the word I'm looking for. Cultured meat. Um, that you can store it at room temperature. That's why it's a summer sausage. So you don't have to have it stored in like a root
But
cellar or
like
something.
that's what I don't understand. Like where, because if again, my understanding, if you leave if you leave beef out
Mm-hmm.
too long,
Yeah.
it goes bad. So where before it goes bad does it become cured? Do you understand my question?
My
Or is it a different
my
process?
understanding is what you're doing is you're introducing it.
And then it smells horrible when it goes bad.
Right. Well, here's the idea. You introduce, like, let's say you keep the meat at a lower temperature, like, 60, 70 degrees or something like that.
So in the fridge.
Yeah. Like, if you left it in the fridge, but it's hanging in your fridge is like, it's got a lot of moisture and bacteria and whatnot. But let's say you left it in like a hanging refrigerator type of thing, like the way they dry age beef, only you're adding, by the way, I'm not entirely too familiar with this process. I know when you're doing it with sausage, you're literally grinding it up and breaking it down and adding like yeasts and bacterial cultures and whatnot. But the idea is you're adding the bacteria that you want to add to it, and once that bacteria has run its course through the meat, that meat is no longer like viable for something else to come in. Like that meat is almost a how do I put it? It's like yogurt. You know what I mean? Like like yogurt doesn't go bad because yogurt already has its living thing. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
something else tries to come in, it just the bacteria that's already on there kind of breaks it down and kills it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or so yeah, man. Cured. I have talked to people who have said they can eat cured beef that are not cured, cultured beef. So that might be why the pepperoni doesn't affect you quite as much because pepperoni is
No, it affects me, but it's
not to
just
the extreme.
yeah, yeah. It's just, like I
Yeah.
said, it's like that's the best way I can explain it. Like I wasn't trying to be funny. I literally take 2 shits and then the third one after that, whenever
I
that is, like I'm
I
fine.
completely understand. The last time I had a reaction to something I ate was a piece of soy pork chop that was marinated in soy sauce, like real soy sauce that has like the wheat gluten in it and all
Yeah,
that, and tasted great, felt good until the next morning, and I just devastated a toilet.
yeah.
And it was like
It's
and it was bad enough that it wasn't like, oh, I guess I had something bad to eat. It was like, oh no, I clearly had something I shouldn't have had, And then like I went back and found the wrapper off of the pork chop, and I was like, oh, fucking soy sauce,
Yeah.
fucking bastards.
I was going somewhere with
To
it.
be honest, I
Oh,
miss good soy sauce. I really do.
and I'll be honest with you, I could do away with. I've never liked soy sauce. I've never liked soy anything. I've tried soy milk.
Yeah.
I've tried like different shit. Of course I've tried soy sauce. I've tried soy sauce with sushi.
Mm.
And it fucks up it fucks up my food for me. And see the other thing, and see I'm a weird motherfucker in the way that there's different dishes that I really enjoy, but I enjoy them for taste. So like for example, sushi. My favorite roll is the Fiji roll. But I enjoy the taste of sushi.
Right.
So when I eat it, I can't have anything else on it because
You're not trying to add some fish sauce or anything.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
because I feel, well, not that I feel, it does happen. Like in a way, it takes away from the taste of the sushi. So and the sushi is what I'm trying to enjoy.
Right.
So when I go to eat sushi with people, they look at me weird because it's like, hey man, why you ain't dipping it in honey mustard or whatever the fuck it is? And I was like, bro, because I like sushi. It's like, well, me too, but I was like, no, I like the taste of sushi. And they was like, no, but eat your shit and let me eat mine.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm real simple when it comes to the. Don't get me wrong.
Do you do sushi?
I've had. I do.
I know
not
you
as
can't
often,
you can't do the deep fried, right? You can't.
Yeah,
you
well,
do
this
deep
is
fried?
what I was getting to. Is like the people that got me into sushi, like the friends I would go and like eat it with. They loved like the deep fried rolls, like the
Yeah.
double decker California, all that.
Yeah,
And don't be
yeah.
wrong, dude. A good California with the cucumber and a little bit of the cream cheese. And
We can pass on that.
I'm
I've tried
not
it.
gonna say
I've
I
tried it,
order
but-
it on a regular basis, but you know when
You ever tried the Fiji? The Fiji.
okay, which one's the Fiji?
The Fiji has the crab in
The
it.
Fiji.
Yeah,
It was
the
a little fishy.
the Fiji, my bad. It has the crab, the avocado, and the cream cheese in it,
Hey man,
and the rice.
Let me get your opinion on this, man. Like, don't be wrong. Fresh crab is delicious,
Yeah,
but when they do it right, that fake ass crab that they serve, pretty good.
it's but see, and people that love crab are gonna shit on me, but yeah, crab is good, but what I feel that makes it great is two simple things, and apparently it's not
Enough
that simple.
butter.
Yes, that's what. But hold on, let
Okay.
me explain. So, two simple things, but apparently not that simple because not everybody gets it right.
Right.
You have to boil it enough to where, I know tender is not the right word, to where it's, I don't know what other word other than to use in tender, but you know how like when you pick it up and it's kind of like falling apart?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So when you boil it enough and you add, see my mouth water. You add the butter. The butter with the garlic is what gives it that kick. And this is how I prove it. Because people tell me that it's not true. So I tell them, okay, if you feel that what I'm telling you is not true, get some crab straight out, like the you know,
Right.
they serve it to you. Don't put anything on it. Nothing. And just eat it.
Mhm.
You're not gonna tell me that you're gonna enjoy that shit.
Okay, I'll push back on you a little bit. The snow crab,
Okay.
the big long fuckers,
Yeah.
those fuckers are sweet. There is a sweetness
Well, I
to
wouldn't
that.
like it.
You
I don't think I've tried snow crab. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think
okay.
I tried it.
To be honest, for like most like regular crabs,
It's
like,
not that. Is it the same as Alaskan?
I think it's the Alaskan crabs. Yeah,
Okay, then I have tried it.
I
I
might
don't
be.
remember. I don't remember it being sweet though. The reason I say it is because when it comes to food,
Mhm.
like regular food,
Right.
I don't like sweet anything. like the sweet and sour chicken and all that shit.
Okay, when I say sweet though, man, I mean like kind of like that sweetness isn't the right word. It's not quite like the savoriness like a meat would have, but like there's a sweetness to like the fresh seafood, like a really good cut of
Yeah, I think I really do think I know what you mean.
Okay.
So it's got it's like a sweet. It's like when you eat a food. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but when you eat food that has a tangy taste to it, it's that tangy citrusy taste.
You know what? I know a great example. Jicama.
Okay.
Okay, you know how like most jicama is kind of bland. It just like it's just there, but every once in a while you get like a really good one that just has that right enough sugariness to it that it's a
I know what you mean.
enjoyable flavor unto itself.
So
That's what I mean about that. There are certain varieties of crab that to themselves have an enjoyable flavor.
Yeah. So I was correct the first time.
Right.
So so back to the crab.
Still wouldn't do it for you.
No, because it does have like if it has that sweet part of it that you're talking about, and I'm not saying that it's sweet enough to where I wouldn't eat it. It's just, I'll eat it, but I wouldn't enjoy it as much. For example, sweet and sour chicken.
Right.
I love chicken.
Right.
But I will not eat sweet and sour chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll put it aside and I'll be like, you know what? I'm not fucking with this.
I think most people would have to agree that like 90% of the sweet and sour sauce that makes it onto restaurant tables is absolute sugary garbage. Mm-hmm. They never add enough tanginess. Like there's no sour to the sweet and sour. Used to go to this one place in Houston. It was a family-owned joint. It was a Golden Dragon. It's been closed down for decades at this point, but they used to make...
In Houston?
Yeah.
They used to have one down here. Remember?
Yeah, dude, come on. There's probably a million Chinese places called the Golden Dragon. I'm just saying.
What? So it wasn't a chain?
No, I'm saying it was a family-owned joint. Like they...
Oh, okay.
Like the guy's daughter worked as like the hostess. Like,
yeah.
But they used to make their own sweet and sour sauce, man. It was like thick. It wasn't like a gooey, like it didn't look like some shit that you dribble on an ice cream cone. Like this actually had like a sauciness to it. Fuck, it was good. Yeah, now I'm salivating.
Yeah.
Fuck, I miss good egg rolls, man. I do.
I don't like egg rolls.
See, man,
we're a bit different on that. And again, people, when I say the shit that I've said on this episode that I don't like, because I hate when y'all tell me, well, you need to try it. I've tried it, and it's not doing it for me. But back we went off on this shit, which is great. But to the ramen shit,
this is where I was gonna go with you. If you want to try the spicy noodles, what you need is the Korean noodles, man.
That's what I was talking about. What did I say?
You said ramen.
No, but I meant there is a challenge, a spicy
noodle challenge.
That they're made with ghost peppers, but it's like a shit ton of like ghost peppers. Like when they pull out the noodles, the noodles are red. You know
okay.
So, and made my mouth water again. And it's a challenge. You know, you have to eat the bowl of the noodles, right? But it's a small bowl, but you have to get.
Wait, is there some place down here that's doing this?
Well, that's why I was at. No. This is like
some Instagram bullshit.
It's like I was gonna say it's like YouTube viral type of shit, and it's been going on for like a long time. I've heard of the spicy noodle challenge, but I've heard that they only sell it at real ramen bars. That's what I heard.
Okay, what I'm telling you is, man, if you just find yourself a decent Korean joint that has like some authentic like spices and shit.
Is there any here?
There used to be. I wouldn't know any place off the top of my head, but I only recommend. All right, it's the Koreans and spice is a lot like, let's say, like the Indians and spice, man. You know what I mean? Like they're the type of motherfuckers that will give you like the medium flavor, and you'll be like, nah, this isn't spicy enough. And they're like, okay, and they'll add a little bit of. And they'll get back to you and you'd be like, no, 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 give me the spicy stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we don't want to be responsible for your death or your asshole.
It's like and I'm not shitting on anybody, but it's like Puerto Ricans, man. I love Puerto Rico. I love your culture.
Puerto Ricans big on spicy?
No, that's what I was about to explain.
Okay.
I love y'all's culture. I love y'all's women. Y'all are great. Y'all can party like a motherfucker. I've partied with some real fucking Puerto Ricans, and them, yeah, they know how to party. But when it comes to food, y'all got some great food, but I just hate the fact that they put sweet sauce on everything. Everything. Rice, bananas, fish, what's the other thing that I had? Shrimp, fucking oysters. Who the fuck puts fucking so we went to a restaurant, right? And it was supposed to be a Mexican restaurant. I guess they called it a Mexican restaurant because they served tacos. So I guess they assumed because they served tacos, they could be a Mexican restaurant. Now, people,
let me put plantains in with my fajita, man.
Let me explain, people, so you can understand the premise of where this is coming from. I ate this on the island of Puerto Rico, not some Puerto Rican joint that I found somewhere in some state. No, I was on the island of Puerto Rico. This is how I know that, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to tell me, well, it's not real Puerto Rican food.
I just want us all to take a moment to recognize that Freddy's the type of motherfucker that'll go to a foreign country to try the Mexican food.
Well, first of all, it's not a foreign country. Oh,
let's be honest, man. Puerto Rico's, even the Spanish were like, we don't know what to do with these people.
That's why they took their land, but that's a different story. So
took their land, built up their infrastructure, one or the other. I don't know.
So we were at this Mexican restaurant, or what was supposed to be a Mexican restaurant, and they served me some tacos that I didn't like, just for the record. But then
corner flour.
Flour. So then
heathens.
Yeah. So I was like, hey man, can I have some hot sauce? So by this point, let me also say this. I had traveled around the fucking island, so that, I mean, if you've never been to Puerto Rico, right? And this is true shit, you can look it up. The island is not that big. I looked at, I mean, I didn't look at the island, physically, but like from the mileage and you can literally get from one end of the island to the other point in like 7 hours, right? So the actual island is not that big. So by this point, I had already traveled through most of the island looking for hot sauce, believe it or not, right? So and to this point, I hadn't found like real hot sauce. So we go to this place, and I was like, hey man, can I have some hot sauce? And he was like, oh yeah, no problem. So then he comes back with this big ass bottle of red sauce. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all, us Mexicans, when red mean hot. So I got excited. I was like, finally, I got some, this is gonna be hot. So I put it on my rice. I put it on my rice and on my fish. I drenched my plate basically without tasting it. This motherfucker brought a big ass bottle of sweet sauce. And I wasn't rude to the guy, but I told my uncle that was sitting next to me, and I was like, dude, what part of hot sauce do they not understand? Like, so then the guy comes back, and I was like, bro, this is sweet sauce. I need hot sauce. And he's like, that's the only hot sauce we have. And I was like, bro, don't call it hot sauce, because the more you call it hot sauce, the more you piss me off. And I was, and then the waiter told me, he's like, oh man, it's because you Mexicans like to eat everything with pain. And I was like, that's literally what he said, bro. And I was like, dude, it's just, it's so good. I don't know how to explain to you. I mean, you deal with your asshole later, but when in the process, it's so delicious. So to wrap this around, so that you can understand, like me and my uncle were on a mission to find hot sauce somewhere, right? So we the next day we partied with some like local people, but I mean like real local people. Like we went to the ghettos and the hoods of Puerto Rico and the outskirts of the island. By the way, it's beautiful, man. It's the
I
scenery.
love how you're talking about this entire island like it's just one big town. It's like, on the outskirts of Puerto Rico.
Y'all know what I mean. I mean, that's how like small and not small it is. Like yeah, and you're right. Like you travel like a couple miles east or whatever, and you're in some
Right.
other town, and then you travel a couple miles west, and you're in some other town. But the island is still like real small. Like, well, not very small, but it's fairly small. So we went somewhere else, and we like literally like we went to like the hood in Puerto Rico or whatever, and we were chilling with some people there, and they were making the food on like outside, kind of like they do in Mexico,
Right.
outside open air in a grill. And
Mhm.
fucking things that were connected to a fucking propane tanks and shit like that.
Right
So
on.
they were making all this shit, and then I saw a tree. Right, I just ran up on this tree. It was a small tree, a little bit bigger than me.
You find the one pepper bush in the whole island.
And I was like, I saw something that looked like peppers, bro. So I was like, oh, and I told him, I was like, look, that looked like. He's like, yes. So my dumbass, I grabbed them, and they were like little ball peppers, like the ones that we have down here. And I grabbed it with no food or nothing. I just bit that motherfucker, and it was the first kick of spice that I had. It made a tear because I ate it by itself.
Right.
It made a tear roll down my eye. Not because I was sad, but because it was hot. But at the same time, I was happy. I was like, I couldn't feel my tongue and shit. I mean, it wasn't that spicy, but it was the spiciest shit I had tasted since I was there. So I was like, I couldn't feel my mouth was all watering and shit because it was hot. And I was like, look, it's hot. It's hot. And my uncle was like, take a handful. So I literally started like taking them from the tree, and I put them in my pocket. And that's the peppers that I munched on for the rest of the time that I was on the island. Everywhere that I went, I took those bitches in my pocket, and I would just dig in my pocket and take one and eat my food. That's how I survived the rest of my trip in Puerto Rico. It was. Other than that, other than the sweet sauce, I think I've said this before on this podcast. Before, I don't know how much in detail I've talked about it, but the island of Puerto Rico. Well, I mean, I went in 2012, so this is way before I got fucked up by Maria and
Right.
however other many bitches have hit it. So I will say this: I don't know how far they've recovered. But I used to tell everybody, if you ever do get the chance of going to Puerto Rico, go. Take advantage, because it doesn't matter how cool or how awesome somebody like me or anybody else tells you that it is. When you get there, it's going to be 20 to 30 times better. It to this day, it's been the best 9 days that I've spent anywhere. And I've been to Miami. I've been to Louisiana. Like, I've been to New Orleans. New Orleans is great. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Miami is great. South Beach is the shit. Especially when they got that Puerto Rican Day Parade, bro. Jesus Christ. Um, but Puerto Rico, it was a different experience. Just a fun fact: the island is filled with frogs that if they bite you, you can die. So
Nice.
just letting you know.
Bite?
Oh, but by the way, hold on. I should have said this before I said that. Those frogs come out at night and they get together and they sing. And then they sing. So like they make this noise, right?
You sure this isn't something the locals told you to keep you from fucking on the beaches?
No, because I saw them. I saw the frogs.
Hey, man, if I was going to use a deterrent, I'd use one that was loud and very visible. Like, you see that? I'll fucking kill you. Stay off the beach.
So they come out at night and they get together like a fucking like a congregation and shit.
Right.
They get together in bunches and they like sing.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear the singing throughout the island. But if they do something, and you're right, I said bite, but whatever the fuck it is that frogs do, they have poison in their throat or whatever the fuck this part of their body is. That's where they carry the poison, and if they get you and you don't get to a local hospital, I mean, it's not dire. Like it's not like you got 30 minutes to get somewhere. Like you got a couple hours to get like medical attention. Right. But if you don't, like the local said that you can actually like it'll kill a grown man if you don't get medical attention fast enough or whatever. But it's also kind of like one of those things where like if you don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with you. I mean,
right on. Basically, rattlesnakes with a good singing voice.
No, I don't want to put that out there about rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes will fuck you up, even if you don't fuck with them. So
I will fight against that. I have had maybe 2 incidents out of multiple hundreds where a rattlesnake got aggressive with me without provocation. Every other time than that, I had to shoot them because they were too stupid to get out of my lawn. I've told you about that, right? My policy with rattlesnakes, you basically get, if I find the fucker like anywhere near the house, I will very calmly and quietly and slowly walk over, find my gun, load the gun, and if I walk out in the yard and that stupid motherfucker is still there, he gets it. Because they got to know where the dominant species is. But my point is, man, like I know there are varieties of rattlesnakes that will go after you. My understanding is the ones out in California will bite you without even rattling sometimes. But yes, the local variety of rattlesnake for the most part is a giant pussy.
Oh, okay. I'm
not saying go pet them, by the way.
I was about to say I didn't know that about them, but I'm not trying to find out either. So
no, don't get me
I'm
wrong.
not gonna go up to one and be like, "Hey man, I heard you're a bitch." Is that true? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
Well, that's the other thing, man. Is like the ones that live long enough to be like, dude. Me and my buddy went after this one, and funny enough, it was the only time I've ever had to go after a rattlesnake with a large caliber or medium-sized caliber handgun. All I had was a .38 special revolver.
Oh, those things are beautiful, bro.
Yeah, they're nice. The problem is, man, like you only get 6 shots, and like this thing was a fucking dragon. Yeah. Like literally, it was old enough where it had like the horny ridges up on the skull and shit, and like it was just this mass. It had to be at least a 6-footer.
Do you remember what it was? Your gun? I used to have a chrome.
This was a
38 Smith and Wesson special. Revolver.
Yeah, no, this was an old school military issue from like the 50s, I would guess.
So you took your grandpa's gun, basically.
Yeah, it was my grandpa's pistol that I was like. This was all we trying to remember how far back this was, man. But like we didn't have any ammo for like the rest of the guns in the house, so it was like all we had was the .38. So I had to like go out there. Like I said, the problem is you only got 6 rounds. Luckily, I hit the damn thing in the spine with like one of the first shots.
Yeah.
So like this thing is still trying to like, and it's dragging itself towards me, but it's trying to lunge at me.
Yeah.
And dude, the sound coming out of this motherfucker just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
holy shit. I didn't know they had lungs big enough to do that.
I actually um uh, not very recently, but recent enough. I shot a possum. I tried to shoot it because I was fairly close. I tried to shoot it in the back of the head, right, so I can get rid of it. But he moved fast enough to where I shot it in the back, right?
Mm.
So when I shot it in the back, immediately, like he kept going, but I believe I severed the spine because he, like, his back legs were gone, so he was dragging.
Right.
The reason I bring that up is because that creeped me the fuck out. Like when I shot it in the back, right? So then it kind of tried to turn around with the front end of his body.
Yeah.
So it was turning around. The glare of the light from the street hit his face, and I was now in front of it. So it was dragging itself like with the front part of his body and dragging the back of his body,
Yeah.
and it was walking towards me. Motherfucker looked like it was like possessed, and I was like, uh, yeah, I think I was scared, but then I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like how, like the I guess what I'm pointing at here was like the will of this motherfucker to like keep going. He had been shot. Like he had been shot. Spine, like I said, I'm not a fucking animal doctor, but spine was probably severed because he couldn't move the bottom of the bottom half of his body, but he still kept going on whatever his mission was. Or you know
Dude,
what I'm saying?
there's a reason that possums have been around for as long as they have, man. And think about this, man. The local variety, the I forget what the fuck they're called, but the North American possums, man. Your typical white and gray ones. Those things are so fucking like ugly for the most part, man. Like most of them are so.
They're all fucking ugly, bro.
Actually, they're not, man. There's some very, very well, I'm not gonna say cute looking, but like
I strongly disagree with that shit. I've seen a lot of these motherfuckers.
well,
And-
first of all, if you're not disposed towards like, like if you've never had like a pet rat or something like that, like yeah, you're
Yeah,
not gonna
no.
yeah, you're probably not gonna
I've
enjoy
never
the
been
look.
into like gerbils or hamsters or fucking. I had somebody
You
have.
never tried the Richard Gere?
Nah, I know that there's people that keep mice
Yeah.
as pet. That shit's like fucking. There's just something about a fucking rat that just irks the fuck out of me. Like it's just,
Okay, but there is
But
that,
then again-
that extra step beyond just like rodents are disgusting. Like possums, like when they're really raggedy looking, are just like, ugh, they're nightmare inducing creatures. But they're so fucking surviving. Like they're such a fucking survivor that like they can afford to look that goddamn ugly that like nothing else wants to be around them, but they still make it through all right. I think they're coming up on like 9 million years is like basically the modern possum has been around for that long. So
yeah. I think I was reading somewhere, and don't quote me on it. You can Google it if you want. But the longest living creatures on Earth, they say that some people think that they've even been around before the dinosaurs, are the rats. Your I don't know what they're called. Is it a ground rat? I think it's called a ground rat. The
sure.
the rats basically, and fucking roaches. Roaches have been around for like a long
Fair enough, man. But like
fucking.
with rats and roaches, like they
Well,
vary
the reason I say I point out the rats is because rats are kind of. I'm not an animal fucking biologist, but they're kind of like the somewhere in the same family of like possums and shit.
Right. Actually, I think the possums may be from like the older branch of the family.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's like pretty much like.
Oh, and I also bring that up because mice, rats, and all that shit.
Mhm.
They're the only species, or one of the only species, that have the mental ability and the intelligence to whatever happens, kick into survival mode.
Right.
So like, no matter what happens, these motherfuckers know what to do to like survive and make sure that they're like they ensure that their species will like live on like
Right. To be honest, man, the rodent is probably the fallback. Like if all other large mammals got destroyed on the planet, like that would be the rodents would be the one like group of the family left, and they would probably be able to. Like I was going to point out with the roaches as well, man. They've been around like crustacean bugs, land bugs like roaches have been around since before the fucking dinosaurs, but they just keep changing in size and shape, and like they adapt to their environment. Like as opposed to like say us as a species where we show up and we remain the same, but we change everything about the physical environment. Like these motherfuckers show up and just go, fuck it, I'll be bigger or I'll be small. You know what I mean? They just fit into whatever gap. Like that's pretty much like I'm saying the rodents seem to be the fallback state of like the mammals. Like if shit ever goes sideways, we'll be back up in trees fucking eating, bugs off a bark.
Yeah.
And God can start again.
Yeah.
Noah, get the boat.
And that's what I was that's what I was gonna say, like, because like rats and shit, they know how to they can basically eat anything.
Yeah.
Like anything. So that's the reason why they can survive like off of
that's
whatever.
One of the crazy things about possums, man, is they can survive massive amounts of toxic substances, man. Like they've got like a
there is something that people don't know, or like even the people that do know, I think they tend to ignore it. Till this day, there is no poison for possums. There is no poison that actually kills like a possum.
I don't know if that's 100% true.
Well, one I've actually researched it, like looked online to actually find poison, something that I can poison a possum with, and that there's nothing. Now there's countless things that you can use to keep them away, to like try it, but it's not gonna kill them. So like for example, if you give them, I have poison pellets for rats, and the motherfuckers are huge, man. They're like, I mean, we're not on camera, but they're huge. The possums have eaten them. Like they've eaten the whole fucking thing.
Right.
And then the only thing that happens is they just shit all over the place. And that's gross.
I would imagine part of it has to do with because like one of the reasons they don't carry, by the way, if you didn't know, possums don't carry rabies.
But they do fucking carry fleas, and it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, and the fleas might anyway, but part of it is their blood temperature is like their metabolism is slower than most mammals, so like their blood temperature is too low for the rabies to live in, so like they can't pass, like it can't reproduce and they can't pass it. So I'm wondering if maybe.
But armadillos do carry rabies.
Yeah.
Wait, is it armadillos?
Actually, the one that's the bigger problem would be they carry,
because armadillos carry
leprosy. Yeah,
and but they carry rabies.
I believe they can. They don't often.
Or is it raccoons?
Raccoons can carry rabies. Yeah.
Yeah. One of
By the
them.
way, if you ever see a raccoon in the daylight and that motherfucker gets closer to you, run away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, you ever come across urban raccoons?
I don't know if it was urban or not, but I came across like a
You ever come
big fat ass raccoon,
you ever
and
come
it just
across one
looked at
just
me.
crossing the street like it doesn't give a fuck, like it's
No,
been here
no.
before?
This dude climbed. I was at a hotel in Louisiana, and he climbed a fence. I
Yeah.
saw him like just casually climb a fence,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
fell, like on because he didn't get a grip, so he fell. He shook up. He looked at me. I looked at him, and he stared at me. And then he looked at the tree. He looked back at me. Looked at the tree. Looked back. Literally, this is what happened. Looked back at me. Looked at the tree, and then he was like looking at the fence. Like when he was doing this, I could tell that he's like, do I fuck with this person that's in front of me, or do I figure out how to get on that tree? And then he decided to like get back on the fence because he's like, I don't think this motherfucker's gonna feed me, and I'm not gonna get anything from fucking with him. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna get back on the street. So then he went to like like trying to climb back on the fence, but he fell again because he was fat, dude. Like it was a fat ass fucking raccoon. So he fell again, right? And when he fell, he hit a trash can, and somebody had left like open food in the trash. So I could just hear him like munching away on the fucking. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go back inside. Fuck that. And no, keep in mind, this was a well lit
Right.
area. It was outside of a hotel. So
Uh,
I was like, you know what? And I went back inside and I told the lady in the lobby, I was like, hey man, y'all need to put up signs, watch out for raccoons and shit, because I just ran into one. Um, and she was like, there was a raccoon outside? And I was like, yeah, have you not seen one? He's like, we've never had a problem with raccoon. I was like, funny. I just stay here and I see raccoons. And then she told me, she was like, they're so cute. And I was like, no, there's nothing about a raccoon that says I'm nice.
well, if you think they're adorable, lady, you should go out and check that trash can.
Yeah. Another thing that people should know about raccoons is raccoons will fuck up everything. Like if a raccoon gets into your attic or your house, they're gonna fuck up. Like they're known to be a menace. They'll fuck up everything for no reason. They'll chew through wires. They'll chew through shit. Um, and if they, because I've seen it on, there used to be this pest control show on the Discovery Channel.
Mhm.
And this couple had a nest of raccoons in their attic, and they fucked up their house like the electrical wiring. They had to get everything redone, the air conditioning. Like this raccoon had fucked up like the whole. They had fucked up the house, the inside of the in between of the house.
Mhm.
They had fucked up like the wood in that.
See, now this is the thing, man. The raccoons, like, I didn't even know until I was like in my 20s that like we had raccoons down here in the area because those motherfuckers are ninjas. They don't want to be seen. They want to stay
Yeah.
the fuck away from you. Until
For
I
the
was
most part, unless you piss them off.
well, we must have had a population explosion or something because all of a sudden I started seeing like the dead raccoons on the highway. I was driving with my buddy out in some of the back roads, and all of a sudden I'm just seeing these bloated raccoon corpses. I'm like, what the fuck? So it kind of freaked me out, man. I was visiting my buddy in San Antonio, man, and I'm driving through a fucking residential neighborhood in the middle of this fucking, metropolis, and this raccoon just casually starts strolling his fat ass across the fucking street. And I'm like pulling up to him, like, and it was like a pedestrian in a crosswalk, man. He just kind of gave me that quick, like, moment where he paused and, like, looked at me. He was like, I'm walking here. And just, like, kept, I was like, you dirty little motherfucker. Like, brazen as brass, man. Like, it struck me as odd, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny because like depending on where you live, like here in Texas in the Valley where we live, even if you live out in the country, and Sean will tell you, like you may see certain animals like cross the street, cross in front of you in populated areas, and you're like, oh yeah, I mean it's fine. It's just Like you may see like a fucking possum or whatever, and it's become casual to us because I guess it's the environment in which we live in. But it's funny how
It's like them Puerto Ricans with their poison frogs. They're just
yeah,
like, yeah, don't
exactly.
touch the
Yeah,
frogs.
just don't touch. Like, if you don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with you. Basically, I was like, but you can die from this shit. You know what I mean? Like, how are you just so cool with it? But what I'm saying is like, um, in Louisiana and in Florida,
Mm.
first of all, I'm gonna say, thank God that I never ran across one. But in Louisiana and Florida, people are also very casually cool with like big ass gators just walking across
Mm.
their yard and the street. Like and in Louisiana, for anybody that been out in Louisiana, and if you haven't, there's actually signs that will tell you watch out for gators or whatever. Like and it'll say gators crossing.
Now,
It's,
see, this goes back to my rattlesnake philosophy. Like, if the gator stays in his pond, stays the fuck off my lawn, we're cool as shit. Soon as he steps on the fucking grass, I'm making a pair of boots, man.
yeah, well, what I was saying was, and like for the locals there, like it's cool. Like there's some people that have been like on their front porch and shit, and they see a big ass gator like just walk across their lawn, and they treat it like it's a fucking a stray dog. They just, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that I never experienced the times that I've been in Louisiana to where I've come anywhere near a gator,
Mm.
but because yeah, I would shit bricks.
I think the closest I've ever knowingly, because I've been on like some docks on like, some little coastal areas where it's like, man, they're probably a gator or not a gator. Yeah, gator, not what, you got to go to certain parts of Florida to find the crocs, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, definitely.
I've been to Florida too, and I've never ran across one of them motherfuckers either. So.
Um, what I was getting at though was, man, the closest I've ever come to an alligator was actually down here. There used to be a game preserve out towards Port Mansfield.
Yeah.
And like it was one of those places where like you'd be driving along the dirt road and yeah, man, there all of a sudden there'd be like a little fucking 6, 7 foot.
I've heard, man. I've heard that again. I've never seen one,
Mm.
but I've heard that in the outskirts of Mission,
Mm.
that there's high possibility and high chance that you'll run into a crocodile. But they say that if you run into a crocodile like out in the outskirts of Mission, a lot of people are saying that those crocs came because they're crocs that were in captivity and they got loose.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have crocs on the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
Are even on this section of the Gulf, as far as I understand, we don't have crocs indigenously, whereas we do have various alligators. Like if you're on the river, you can run into probably not a big one, but you run into an alligator.
Yeah, but yeah, they were saying, yeah, man, if you can in the outskirts of Mission, like you can run into a croc or an alligator or whatever. But they're saying that if you do, it's more than likely because it was one that it was in captivity and it got away. Again, I've never like run into one, and I don't want to run into one, but I really do think, man, like if I ever run into one like a gator and shit like that, that would be my ass. And it would just suck, man. I think I would immediately start talking to Jesus and be like, really, bro, everything I've been through, and this is how my story is gonna end. You brought me this far, and this is it. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I used to not like be too concerned about it because like usually you see them, they're all just like they look like little lizards, you know what I mean, on the ground and whatnot. But then you see those photos out of Florida where like these motherfuckers are standing like 3 feet off the ground, like they're on like
oh, dude. No, but even the pictures from the ones in Africa, bro. What the
Oh.
fuck are they feeding those things? That there's some, and again, I've seen them like only like on YouTube and shit. But those things are not like that. That looks like something that was genetically modified in a lab somewhere. That is not normal. Cause like even in that movie, cause people don't know. Well, I mean, if you watch the movie, you know, but people don't believe is what I'm saying. Did you ever see that movie, Primeval? Primeval.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you have to watch. It's a great movie, by the way. But basically, Primeval is based in Africa, and it revolves around the story of Gustav. Gustav is the.
Okay, I know Gustav.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
It's like 115 years old or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So it terrorized, that little village in Africa for years or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that crocodile was like insanely huge, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that the gators in Africa or crocodiles in Africa, they are they're a completely different
Just throw a little
monster.
spice on that story for anyone that doesn't know. If I recall correctly, that was the one where there were villages along that stretch of the river where like it was regular for people to be missing
Yeah.
limbs and shit. You
Yeah.
just roll into town and there'd be a couple of footless motherfuckers
Yeah,
just hanging
yeah.
around going, "Don't get near the water."
Yeah, exactly. And
That may have been the same one too, where they ended up.
and they say that that crocodile was responsible for entire villages disappearing. Like entire villages disappeared because
Maybe
of,
one at a time. When you get
well, I
down
mean,
to
I'm pretty sure
you get down to 5 people and you're like, you know what, man, I don't think this is the spot for us. But I want to say it was the same crocodile, but I know there was one where it took them years. Like the local, the young boys would load up a rifle and go down and take pock shots at the motherfucker. And when they eventually found the son of a bitch, like I don't know if he died because someone killed him or whatnot, but they found like a shitload of you could basically dig the bullets out of this motherfucker's hide from just the decades of motherfuckers trying to kill this son of a bitch.
Damn, bro. No, I don't know if it was that one or not.
Actually, I'm trying to think. There was another story, and I don't think it was the crocodile. It may have been a tiger or something. Where at some point the locals just made peace with it. They were just like, "Yeah, man, that's our killer animal out there." Just
I think it was that was part of the Gustav story, because then the village that waterside village in Africa, they named them Gustav because they were like it's just after a while they were just like fuck it, and people would say, why didn't you just grab your shit and move, you know what I mean? But at the same time, people don't understand that this was one of the poorest parts in the country. Even if you wanted to, it wasn't going anywhere. And if it was, you couldn't get far enough to where you were away from the fucking croc.
right.
You know what
Your
I mean?
only way to get far enough away would be on the river.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so that's why the local people, they named him Gustav, and they just kind of sort of learned to live with it. But there was a lot of it really sucked because they were also saying, when you look at the real documentary, there was an actual documentary on it on Netflix, but it's not there anymore. The movie is cool, but I'm pretty sure the movie hyped shit up more than what it was. But when you look at the documentary, one of the other things that sucked was that that croc claimed a lot of the lives of kids. It got rid of a lot of kids, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids that would just go to the river to drink water or bathe or whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody's kids just disappeared.
Just as a quick note, we need to close up right here, man. But it just a thought to send everybody on their merry way with, and I don't know, man. It digs at me sometimes. I've been watching these documentaries on early prehistory archaeology type of shit. A lot of stuff on North America and like the various migrations in through like the Bering Strait, the possibility of the Polynesian and possibly even Western African migrations into South America and shit like that. Again, a lot of this is based on tenuous stuff, but when you start talking about like the land bridge up in the Bering Strait, it's like, why did it take, like, okay, if humans have been around for like 200,000 years, as far as we know, possibly 300,000 years, the number keeps getting pushed back. You go, why the fuck was it only like 50,000 years ago or 15,000 years ago that people got over here? It was like, there used to be animals on this continent big enough to just eat whole villages.
Yeah.
Like, look up the short-faced bear if you ever get a chance. Some bitch was like 12 feet tall, fucking just massive, and just, it was a fucking bear. You know what I mean? It might just kill you and your entire family and then just eat on you for a week because they like rotten meat. Anyway, just the idea that like we are now at a point where they're the largest things on the planet. Like people go swim with blue whales. You know what I mean? Like if we still had like megalodons in the ocean, nobody would ever swim with blue whales. They'd be like, those are nice big fish out there, but we ain't gonna fuck with it.
Exactly.
It's like North America looks pretty sweet, but there's killer bears.
It's for a lot of people, man. It's and it's something that we forget too. But for a lot of people, it's the thrill, the thrill, like people that like to fuck with sharks and shit like that.
But the thrill, the thrill only exists because best case scenario, you get to go home. Like there is nothing.
But the thrill is also that you might not.
Well, like, look, man, nobody would. The only reason people wrestle bears is because somebody before them wrestled a bear and got away with it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, probably the first motherfucker that ever like killed like a giant predator. Like everybody else was like, well, if this motherfucker can do it, maybe we can do it.
Can do it, yeah.
Got him to thinking. I'm just saying, man. It's like I think if we need any goal as a species, we need a large predator to fear and murder.
And with that, no, we actually went from sexual arousal with balloons and shit to Korean noodles with Japanese people, and we ended up with bears, crocodiles, and that was one hell of a fucking conversation.
This is what happens when we do this in the morning.
And you add caffeine into the mix.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, man. That burnt ass Starbucks coffee got my guts churning. I'm gonna get somewhere in the next hour and drop a solid log.
Well, with that being said,
I just want to let you know.
With that being said,
tell me where you at, man.
Y'all can find me at Freddy G at Instagram. For now.
HatfieldStandup@gmail.com, as well as Hatfield Stand Up on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to listen to the audio version of this podcast, go to shoutengine.com/bouncing brains. If you'd like to watch the video, by the way, video will be returning next week. This will be the last for now audio only episode. But if you want to watch the video, go to YouTube, search Bouncing Brains. We're the first ones to pop up. And you can follow us and get in touch at bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com, as well as Bouncing Brains Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Reach out, talk to us. Thanks for coming.
And until next time, keep it tight. Keep it tight.